No, no problem, Joseph. We're good,
So we're
buddy.
all here anyways.
We're all here. Yeah,
Better
man. I like
late
your
than never,
background, huh? That's a good, clean background you got there.
Oh yeah, thank you. That's one of the things that Dreams Fulfilled does. We help other businesses perform better. We can actually design stuff like this if you ever need something like this for your company.
Oh, awesome. I'll think about it. Generally speaking, no, but I will always think about it, Joseph. I will.
Okay.
Talk to me a little bit about your company, and then I'll tell you about POWDEVS, and then we'll see if we can and how we can work together, my friend. I love
Okay.
that.
Yes. Well, Dreams Fulfilled is involved in a lot of projects right now. We're working with the federal government on a major project to save the American taxpayers over $100 billion a year.
Love that.
Hopefully the Supreme Court does what they're supposed to do, and they overturn the Obamacare Affordable Care Act to lower healthcare costs for every American. So that's been one of the greatest things we've been working on for the last year. We're also involved with various consulting activities for state and local governments. We actually have some additional work today with Deltec with some SLED training for local and state government contracting. We're actually also involved with the federal contract bid space. So we're involved in a lot of consulting work across different spaces, all the way from federal government to private business consulting as well. We've worked with some of the major banks on failure issues. Actually, I was just reviewing some other findings right now, and there's some other issues that I have to address with some banks in the Buffalo, New York area. But we've worked with Zelle to try to increase investment capabilities across the Buffalo, New York area. They had some failure points with some of their banks not interacting with the Zelle application, and that was it looks like it was impacting investments in the banks, especially with Citizens Bank and M&T. So we have a lot of work cut out for us to help these companies discover these failure modes. One of the other things we do is we've been working on some security investigations. Actually, with your work in the computer space, we found a lot of problems with the Microsoft platform, and obviously with the recent SolarWinds hack in December, there's a lot of concern out of Commerce and Treasury about the infrastructure and about the security of using, especially Microsoft Teams. So we've been networking across a lot of different agencies, including the NSA, DoD. They actually voiced these concerns to us back in, I think it was November, that there was some serious security concerns across the computer designed platforms within the United States. So we actually wrote an article on LinkedIn asking to possibly prosecute these these individuals involved with causing these security holes that have actually led to compromises within both the government's infrastructure as well as private business, which has been aggravated by the COVID-19 ruse, which raises a lot of questions, as to what's going on with that. We actually did an analysis on COVID-19 as well, because we found that there's actually a perfect line fit between the number of people living in the state as well as the number of essentially the number of cases of COVID-19. Perfect correlation fit of 0.96. I couldn't have made up the data better, but that came right out of Google. And it really shows that a lockdown state does not help in terms of reducing the number of COVID-19 cases. So obviously that raises a lot of concerns for the economic damages. When you lock down a state, that causes serious problems for the state's functionality. New York State has lost anywhere from $200 million to $400 million in their GDP. And obviously the United States has lost, they're admitting to $2 trillion and maybe 3, 4, or 5 trillion in GDP, not to mention the security hacks that have occurred because of the people working from home, which has basically brought down a lot of the firewalls with the business infrastructure here in the United States, aggravated by, you know, some of the computer holes that are on everyone's systems right now. So there's a major infrastructure problem, which I'm sure, you know, the auditors right now are investigating. Actually, just in the last week or so, the director of compliance with Microsoft actually decided to bail. So I think that was an interesting move. He decided to jump ship. And like I said, a lot of people are looking at Microsoft very, very closely to see what's going to transpire with that company, especially given the amount of damage to the federal government, as well as possibly to other private businesses in a major, I mean, there could be, you know, a justification for a major class action lawsuit, especially if huge business infrastructure was compromised, as Dreams Fulfilled it suspects.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
that's what
I'll
we
tell you,
do.
Joseph.
So tell me what you can do for me, Rico.
Yeah, like you got a very deep relationship with the U.S. government and projects that they have and thoughts that they have. Can I ask how did you get into that relationship with the U.S. government?
Well, I mean, I started getting registered with federal contracting. So if you can get yourself a DUNS number and a cage code, you can bid on federal contracts. So that's actually a great tool. And you know, even if you don't necessarily do contract work, you can still help provide, you know, various guidance to, you know, the different systems. And like I said, if one of the things we do, we're really good at looking at a system and analyzing what doesn't work, right? So if there's an opportunity for cost savings, like with the Affordable Care Act, that was like a huge project last year. We actually identified massive waste, because when I first tried to sign up for the Affordable Care Act with the exchange program in December of 2019, it was a complete and utter disaster. I never saw so much corruption in my life. I'd get all these phone calls from insurance companies. They were just scamming me, trying to charge me $15,000 for health insurance without a penny of even coverage until you met their high deductible. And basically what we're finding is a lot of companies right now, or a lot of people, just cannot afford the Affordable Care Act. Their deductibles or their premiums have doubled or tripled from when the law went into effect. So basically what's happening is now it's hurting a human right. And everyone should have health care. And if they can't afford health care because of waste out of DC, because basically we had the Speaker of the House admit we were going to find out what's in the law after we passed it, which means she admitted to failure of due diligence, which, you know, obviously, right, you know, raises serious questions about the constitutionality of the Affordable Care Act. And it most certainly is not constitutional, and it's robbing the American people blind in favor of special interests, legal service industry interests, which allowed the 20,000-page law that no one read. No one could read it because it was so long. It conflicts with itself. It's a piece of garbage, and basically it's hurting American health and maybe killing people now because people can't afford health care. So these are the questions that Dreams Fulfilled raises with our expertise across, you know, a lot of different sectors. And I'm just looking at a lean process and just saying, well, the Affordable Care Act, 20,000 pages, we wrote the entire US Constitution in 4. So if we wrote the entire framework for the government that has lasted since 1776 in under 10 pages, and we require 20,000 for healthcare insurance, there's something wrong. So those are the issues that we can raise, and we actually have a plan to take that corruption, force the states to basically surrender their authority to the federal government. So essentially, the federal government will be in charge of competition, which is the way it should have been. Because right now we have 50 separate states ruining competition for health insurance. And then other companies can't get into the process because it's too expensive to counter those 50 states. So just imagine how much savings there would be in terms of the attorney costs to take down the 50 state laws and reduce the Obamacare law to 20 or 40 pages instead of 20,000. So the cost savings there is tremendous across the entire United States. We're actually projecting with the increased competition by taking down the state borders that healthcare costs would be reduced and would better protect the human right to healthcare, which we certainly do not have now. And the Affordable Care Act has basically not delivered in any respect of what they set out to do or promised to do with the law. So that's actually one of our key projects we've worked on throughout the year. We've networked with the Senate, including Marco Rubio and Senate leadership, House leadership. We reached out to Gus Bilirakis, as well as people within President Trump's cabinet, Munchin. So, with U.S. Treasury. So we have a lot of relationships across various sectors where we can step in, we can help provide guidance to the lawmakers so that they can frame a better system for the American people. And that's actually one of the things we've been working on throughout the year, on top of all the consulting we've done with banks and credit card companies and various systems, working with Calendly and working with some of the other platforms. So I guess, Rico, tell me what else you can do for me in terms of helping my company deliver even more benefit to either business or government operations.
Yeah, so generally what we do, and I'll tell you what, Joseph, you're way better storyteller than I'll ever be, right? So I'm a little bit more, I stay in like a very small window. You have great stories, man, and I love the relationships you've built over your time. But what POWDEVS does is we do this. Simply put, we do either staff augmentation, where if you have a need for personnel that are going to be on a project for 6 months or longer, and you want to manage that project, and you usually people have like a project manager in place, and they want to hire staff to support a project from a software development, automated testing, data analysis, any of those, then what we do is we go and provide staff either from projects we have working on right now that we run the projects, or we go and hire new people that fit your needs specifically in Mexico or Argentina or Latin America, essentially is where we focus on. And we provide that staff to you, right? For 6 months or longer. We have a 3-month grace period where we say, hey, that person's not a fit for this team. And then we're able to replace them and, get you the right fit. But what I do is I personally interview, let's say you wanted to hire a 6-person team. I would interview 24 to 30 people for you using your cultural fit, your personality that I see in front of me today, and the requirements you have for that project. And I would recommend probably 12 people for interview to you, right? And then out of those 12 people, you would interview and pick your 6. So that's one way we work with people, and that's primarily how we work with companies. The secondary way we work with companies is on a project basis. So let's just say that you didn't want to manage a project, but you wanted to feed information and high-level requirements into a project and get that work done by somebody. Then we would spool up a project manager on our side and a staff that's appropriate to that project. And we would understand those requirements. You would build a relationship with that project manager, and they would be your contact person. And then our staff would rock that project out and deliver appropriately, right? So those are the two ways in which we work with our customers. When it's staff augmentation based, our rates are $30 an hour for like a junior developer, just less than 4 years experience. A senior developer 4 years plus is $40 an hour. And then we have an architect level that's like 8 years plus experience, and they're $65 an hour, right? So whatever team we've got to, work with to create for you to solve that problem, we create that team. On a project basis, we charge $40 an hour per resource, and also adding a project manager, and then we deliver that project for you.
Okay, yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah,
so, yes.
and we work with multiple groups. So we have done government contracts before, where we're redoing sites for some of the government websites through as a sub, though, right? We're never the name on that bid, but we are the people doing the work, right? We work in the oil and gas area. We work in healthcare, where we're creating training platforms for healthcare today. And we work with startups, essentially, that, basically there is a CTO that's for hire that runs around helping startups or helping redefine software so that they can get through their first or second or third round of funding, right? So those are we've got very extensive experience, very broad.
I mean, that could be beneficial. Like I said, I've worked actually in the automotive sector. I used to work for Delphi.
Okay.
That was one of the first billion-dollar companies I worked with. Brought a lot of value there. Worked with project teams to help with the automobile processes for manufacturing, and also, helping the vehicle release engineers internationally with GM Brazil, as well as Toyota and Opel. So I have a lot of experience working on the project teams with automotive. And then also oil and gas. I worked for Cameron Compression, as well as Ingersoll Rand, and additionally J&E Consulting out of Canada. So I have a lot of oil and gas petrochemical experience developing new projects. And like I said, some of this experience could be tied back to what you're offering, where as I get deeper into some of either the federal contract or private business applications, as the case may be. Obviously, a service like you're offering to provide project teams would be really well used. So you're across all different spaces. Is it, you said petrochemical, you offer contract workers for project teams, as well as, do you do computer work as well, or is it just mostly labor for projects?
We do labor for software development projects, right? We, as far as if you're talking about computing, we do cloud computing services, but we would never work with like a physical computer for somebody, right?
Okay,
but
so
if you
strictly IT then, or computer
IT
stuff.
and software development, right?
Okay.
So if you wanted like DevOps or cloud infrastructure built, or you wanted to develop a solution or the next app or the next web application, then you would use my team to go in and just rock things out. If you need like data analysis, somebody to kind of, really just do some analysis on some data that you're seeing, or if you even needed just a virtual assistant, we could provide, any of those things to you. What we look for is the correct type of project is where somebody doesn't have to be on site in order to do the work, right? That they could do it from, Hermosillo, Mexico, or Mazatlan, right? So we have staff in Hermosillo and Mazatlan. We now have staff in Colombia and Argentina, right? So we work all over Latin America to create teams to solve problems in multiple spaces.
Okay, I mean, I could see that definitely being useful.
Yeah.
Do you also offer like cloud services and security of computer platforms and stuff, or is it mostly, like you said, the IT software development?
Well, security ties into software development. Like, I mean, for example, what we would do in a security standpoint would be we would take something like Veracode scan a subset of code or a set of code or an entire project, look for all of the security flaws that it relates to for us, and then we would go and solve all of those flaws, whether it be SQL injection or whatever type of security flaws are in there. There are things that, like when you bring up the thing that's on with Microsoft Teams, that who knows how that problem actually got injected into Microsoft Teams. I don't know the details of it. But if you had a company that had security flaws that they thought were needed, then we would take something like Veracode, that is essentially a code inspection tool that would go and help and identify all of the security flaws that need to be done. And that could be a project that our team could be deployed to go and solve, right?
Yeah, because, I've had very good experience with PCmatic. That's been a very good fallback software protector defender for me in my company. And I don't know if you've worked with them, but they've done an excellent job. But it seems like these software engineers, a lot of times they don't properly vet their products. So PCmatic even made some changes, and there were some problems. I'm trying to work with them on a ticket right now to fix some security. I don't know if it's actual security problems or just software issues, but
right.
Software engineers, they make changes and they don't properly beta test what they're doing, so can create havoc. And that's how these security problems happen too. A lot of times they're so fast to make a change, and then they end up causing security problems because they made a change, and then they ended up messing up something that worked really well. And that's unfortunate, that something could happen like that to a company. And then obviously with the Microsoft stuff, that's another issue. But I think that's been going on for some time. Like I said, with some of the different things I've noticed. I actually was hack attacked by Teams, and I now will refuse to use that software because I just don't think it's secure. And I think that's how they noticed it with the SolarWinds attacks last month.
Right.
I actually am also working on trying to get some CISA certification as well. But for some reason, nobody was interested in CISA with training camp. So that was another pitch I was trying to make, is to get some more certification so we can go out and help audit, where there's a problem with security concerns across different platforms. So that's great, Rico. Do you have like a flyer or like a promo sheet that you could send me, or is there everything is on the website?
No. Cassandra will follow up and send you our case studies and our capabilities deck and all of those things. Really what I like to do here is just like what we're doing, Joseph, is have a conversation about who you are, what your company is, and then talk about how we can help you, right? So conceptually, the rates that I quoted you verbally just now, they're 40% under what you pay in the US at least, right? A developer out of college, you're sitting at 75 to 110,000 a year. A developer with 5 years experience is 160, 170, right? So we destroy those rates for you, and we bring you solutions that keep more money in your pocket so that your 2021 budgets are just more realizable, right? So yeah, Cassandra will follow up with an email. Do you have any idea of when the first project that you might be able to use a team like us would come into play, or is that kind of open right now?
It's kind of open. Like I said, I'm not sure how things are going to materialize. I think there's a lot of confusion right now with the change in the presidential shift as Joe Biden gets sworn in. Like I said, a lot of the contract officers right now are kind of in disarray. Things are being moved around. So yeah, there's a lot of just confusion, I think, right now, until things get settled after the inauguration and the new contract officers take over the different departments. So it could be a little while before things get settled. So not sure when the I'll be requiring your services, but obviously I'll keep what you have to offer in mind, and that'll be awesome to work with you and your team.
Yeah, that'd be great, man. We love delivering for people like you. We love to take brands that are, you know, at the end of the day, you're the brand, right, Joseph? So we like to take people like you and be that workforce that will deliver upon your dreams, you know? So
Right.
just like your company is dreams fulfilled, we want to fulfill your dreams. So, you know, and you can't do that alone right now. At some point you step outside of what you do, you become the brand, you become the idea guy, and then you just give us requirements that are detailed enough in order to deliver. And hopefully you do that enough to where you just keep a team of developers that, you know, are POWDEVS employees, but you trust them, right? You trust them to deliver upon your ideas and your promises. And then we just consistently keep on doing that. So it sounds like you've got that beautiful gift of gab. You have an amazing mind that can put together details and sell people solutions. And then what we want to be for you is the people that empower those solutions to come to fruition, right? So that's who we are to you, my friend.
Perfect, Rico. Yeah, have Cassandra send me the flyer, the literature, any rough quotes you may have or information you may have, projects, case examples of what you've worked on, so I can understand, you know, what your capabilities are, and any certifications for federal contracting or other work. It sounds like you have. So that'd be great, and I look forward to working with POWDEVS in the future. And thanks for all of your time today. I really appreciate it.
All right. Have an amazing day. We'll talk to you soon, my friend.
Take care, Rico. I got another 2 o'clock. So take care.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you,
thanks.
Yusuf.